Do you want fresh, healthy baby greens at your fingertips all year round, even if you don't have a backyard? We can turn your kitchen or living room into a mini garden. Today I'll show you how easy and fun it is to grow baby greens indoors. By the end of this video, you'll know the best baby greens to grow inside, supplies, and how to plan your indoor garden so you don't have to wait a long time for your first harvest. So why grow baby greens indoors? First, nothing beats the freshness and nutrition of greens you just picked. You can harvest exactly what you need, right when you want it. Super convenient, providing tasty sides and reducing waste. It's also a great way to save money. No more wilted greens from the store that go bad in a matter of days. Welcome to Calendula's Garden. Make sure to like, subscribe, and join our newsletter. So today we're going to grow mustards, a superfood blend, arugula, a basil blend, cress, and we'll add in sides of sunflower and pea microgreens. All we need to do to get started is a grow tray, inserts with great drainage, and soil. So here's a tray I already have prepped. I've added soil to about the halfway mark. It's moist and ready to have seeds added to each compartment. This is a great way to have a lot of variety in a small space. So first up, we're going to plant our mustard blend. This is going to include red giant, tender green, mizuna, red, ruby streaks, golden frill. Ooh, should be tasty. So these seeds are tiny. We're just going to sprinkle them on the top and then lightly cover them. They don't need to be planted deeply, and I usually sow pretty heavily. When there's a lot of seeds, sometimes the germination rate goes down, and if we have a lot of seedlings, when we thin them, we can always save our trimmings to top us out. We can always grow lettuce. That's a classic baby green. You can try butterhead for soft texture, romaine for crunch, and oak leaves for mild flavor. Next up, let's plant our superfood mix. That is going to include red Russian kale, broccoli, Georgia southern collards, kohlrabi, turnip, which includes purple top and white clove, and bok choy. This is another set of tiny seeds, so we're going to plant them the same way as our mustards. Just lightly sprinkle, and then we'll cover them with soil. Alright, we've added our seeds to each one of our cells, and now it's time to add our soil. And once we've covered all of our seeds with soil, it's time to go back and just lightly tap the soil down in place so there's good contact between the seeds and the soil. You can see here I left one cell empty. That will be for peas, but first I want to give our smaller plants a head start, and then we'll go in a couple days, we'll plant our peas. I always like to mix the soil after all the planting is done, and then after this we'll water from the bottom. Alright, day one. Let's see how our tray is doing. Not a lot of action, so we'll just go ahead and mist the surface. Alright, day two. It looks like we have a little growth. We have our peas, mustards, who else? And an arugula already coming up. They are always very reliable, very tasty. Superfood, a few are starting to pop up. Alright, back under the lights. Alright, day three is looking promising. At least we know that most of our seeds are viable at this point, so we're going to keep on trucking. Alright, day 4. Let's take a closer look here. Looks like our mustards are growing, but they're getting a little lanky. I think we need to move our lights closer to the seedlings, and then we'll go ahead and thin them. Those two actions to reduce the lanky seedlings. Right, day 5. We have a lot of new growth. Peas are looking great. Let's have a look at them under the light. We're going to have to rearrange these so these guys can get more sunlight so they don't have to reach and try so hard. Alright, day 6. Our basil is finally starting to come up, looking lush. I removed some of our cells that had the seedlings that were reaching for light. I put some squash that were doing well there, and I moved our baby greens for mustards and superfood down to a lower rack where the grow lights are a lot closer. And I think they're liking that a lot. So we'll thin coming up here soon. So now that we're almost a weekend, so day 6, this is a good time to go ahead and soak the next batch of peas. So that we'll plant tomorrow, which will be 7 days, and we'll start that succession planting so we have continuous harvest. Alright, day 7. And our peppery cress is just now coming up. It's a slow grower, but it packs a lot of flavor. Our arugula seedlings are doing great, super thick, very healthy, basil. And it looks like it's about time to start harvesting our sunflowers. And our pea microgreens look great. They are definitely ready for harvest. And we check on our... Alright, so these stopped elongating, so this light's at the perfect height for them. Let's harvest these peas. They're huge, but they're easy to harvest. So we're just going to trim them about an inch or 2 above the soil, leaving some very small leaves at the base. It's a good handful per cell. And these will keep in the fridge for at least a week. It's not unusual for them to be absolutely fine, crispy and delicious for 2 weeks. Let's have a look at the roots. So, lots of big healthy roots, plenty of energy for producing another round of pea shoots. Alright, let's go ahead and plant our peas. They've been soaking overnight, so they're ready to go. We have an empty cell ready to go for them. Let's drain them out and pour them right on top of the bare soil. Looks like I have a spare seed that came up in there. It'll be fine. Maybe a basil. And once we have them all in the cell, we're just going to cover them with their size of their depth of soil after pressing them in for good contact with the soil. And of course, outer label, we're not going to remember. They'll be up eventually, but it's always good to keep track. And I'll help you come up with your schedule. Always put the date on there, and then you'll know how often to succession plant And we'll water from the top since it's a new cell, and then the rest from the bottom. And while we're in here, we put them under light so it'll be easier to harvest our sunflower microgreens. Right, day 9. And it looks like our peas are starting to come up, but the soil that we covered them with is a little dry and crusty, so we'll have to take care of that. Basically just break it up, and that way they'll germinate evenly. So superfoods and mustards are looking great. Crust is coming along. Arugula is thick as ever. And basil looks fantastic. Sunflowers enjoyed being thin, and our peas that we harvested are still alive. So to break up the crusty soil, we're just going to mist it and just move it around lightly with our fingers. Alright, day 10. And it looks like we're growing. We're starting some momentum here in some of our other baby green cells. Starting to see true leaves. We have lots of opportunity to thin and start to harvest. We'll take a closer look at our sunflowers. While they don't grow a second crop, I have noticed that if I go ahead and thin, or go ahead and harvest the larger ones, often there are seeds that have not germinated underneath. So it'll come up and it'll give me another flush. So let's go ahead and thin our arugula. Alright, so when I cut the tall, lanky seedlings, there are lots of smaller seedlings closer to the soil, and these will grow up and be our baby greens. But in the meantime, we were able to get a harvest of microgreens, and everything smells delicious. Now, I love the smell of freshly trimmed arugula. It's very peppery and fresh smelling in here. Alright, and then these are our mustard mix. Purple and green. We'll start trimming these up. And next up is our superfood mix. Next up, basil. They're growing nice and slow, so we have a nice opportunity to really thin them out perfectly. All right, let's get started. And it's like our next round of peas are growing. And our first harvest of peas are putting on another set of leaves. Crest. It's like the germination rate is a little lower than our others, so they naturally thin themselves out, so that works out. All right. Back under the lights. Oh, first let's give them some water. It's a big reveal. A few extras. Cover that with the soil. The rest will water from the bottom. Not a bad harvest for just thinning. Yeah. Day 11, and it looks like our arugula is bouncing back from that heavy thinning. Basil, sunflowers, crust starting to look great. Mustards are bouncing back. Superfood mix. And our next round of peas. And this is the second harvest, or not the second harvest, but the second growth of that pea. Oopsie, went on holiday and didn't check my baby greens tray for a day or two, and the peas have exploded. So we're gonna pull this out and harvest and see how everyone else is doing. Arugula is doing great. Cress starting to perk up and putting on some new leaves. Now it's been given some time. Our basil is starting to fill in. After he thinned it, this is the mustards. I'm happy to see that I actually managed to leave a variety and not just accidentally thin everything out and have one type of mustard left. That's always a challenge. And then in the back is Superfoods, who also seem to be doing well. Alright, cool. And a couple other trays of microgreens going on the side. Keep our fresh greens in supply. Oh, looks like there are a few sunflowers hanging in there. Probably finish those up and then replant this with more peas, since I can get multiple harvests, because this one is, I believe, yeah, because there are the stems right there. So this is the second harvest from this section, and this is the first harvest from the back. All right, let's do it. So let's see how big our harvest is. I am just thankful I'm making stir fry tonight, so I get to use some of these fresh pea sprouts tonight for dinner. All right, let's get in here. So this is the second growth from our first round of peas, and they grew just as well as our first, so I'm quite pleased. It's an excellent investment. Great seeds, great soil. So this is one cell. I'll give our arugula more access to light. These guys are getting pretty floppy. And it looks like there's a couple of sunflowers. Let's just add these. I'll just add them for my stir fry, just for a flavor surprise in a dish. I will give this cell a rest. We'll just switch it out. Put these in compost. First growth. Just leaving that little, sometimes you can see it. Get in there. Right here, there's one tiny leaf. It's always cut above that. I notice that's where our next round of growth will start out. And at least, if there's tiny leaves there, you can harvest light and produce no growth. Goodness, it's like 2 days of growth. It's always nice to come back from holiday to a reasonable amount of fresh veggies to harvest. it out. And there you go. 2 cells. And I think that's a couple meals worth. They cook down a little bit, but they'll be mixed in with other veggies. So, yay! Let's get these guys back under the light. Alright, it's been a couple days. Let's check on our baby greens and see if we have some true leaves. Okay, so this is starting to look more real. So our last harvest of peas, this is the second flush for this one. This group of peas, we're not going to get a third. You see these dead tips, so we're done with this one. So we're going to take this one out. And this will be a good time to start soaking another set of peas overnight. Arugula, looking great. Crust is coming along. I just tell you, it smells really fresh and beautiful. Basil looking great. Some of the purples are hanging in there. You might thin it out a little bit more just to give the purples a chance. Mustards, these look great. I'm so glad we had some of the frillies. All right. And superfood, which looks like it's kale and probably some in the cabbage family, which are kale also, but kale. I wonder if there's collards. I've been trying to find collared microgreens. That would be awesome. All right, there we go. Doing great. We're well on our way. And of course our thinnings will be eaten. Now, if you don't want to invest in a grow set like this, you can always repurpose containers like yogurt containers. All right, fast forward to day 24 and we have ourselves a proper baby green mix. We have peas ready to harvest. We have another round already planted. Our arugula and other greens all have multiple sets of true leaves and are ready to be harvested. Really rewarding. Just start with easy varieties, follow the steps in this video, and you'll have fresh greens in just a few weeks and a few snacks along the way. If you found this helpful, hit the like button, subscribe, and join our email newsletter for more gardening tips, and let me know in the comments which greens you're excited to grow. Thanks for watching. Happy gardening. Catch you next time.